Hey everybody, welcome to Real Nerds. I just got the hand job from Brad, and it felt so great to see that hand.
The what job?
The hands job.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny. Because when you're not here, no one uses their hand.
No one cues you.
No one cues me. I just go.
That wasn't as funny as the first time we did.
So, anyways, to my left
James,
is.
This is the first time we did it.
To my left is
Brad.
To my right is
Sad James.
And I'm in the middle of a dude sandwich. See, James, I still did it. I still did it.
No, all right.
What are you guys talking about? What are you saying? What are you implying?
Oh, we fucked up at the beginning, so this is a re-recording of...
Yeah, we started recording this without Brad here, and we forgot to unplug the computer, and so it buzzes really bad. And then he showed up and he was like, "Hey guys, you were stupid and you forgot to unplug the computer." And then he saved us, and
Brad.
So we're like, "Oh man, we got to re-record the whole thing."
So what we're doing right now, this is for Brad. Did you ever know that you're my hero? That was for Brad. Anyways,
well, it certainly wasn't for me.
Well, when you remember to unplug the computer, then I'll sing that to you.
Oh shit! Oh, all right.
We saw Moneyball this week. We'll get to that soon, but first, real news time. The first bit of news I have is because while I'd say I'm a fan of the Resident Evil movies, I like them, they're enjoyable. I got a piece of casting news that I was not happy with. It turns out that the worst part of Resident Evil, the first one, Michelle Rodriguez, is making her return to Resident Evil 5.
How is that possible?
Well, I have no idea, guys. She got shot in the head and turned into a zombie.
That's insane. I didn't know this.
I know. Dude, we're terrible actors. Well, you two are. I'm really carrying the weight. It's like I'm the Liam Neeson, and you're Jake Lloyd, and you're...
Are you going to kick me in the face, Liam Neeson?
No. Well, I don't know who else is bad in that. That one little alien guy who's Jake Lloyd's friend in episode 1.
Yoda?
The Jamaican guy who plays... Yoda?
No, it's the guy that looks like Greedo from the episode 4. It's like the little alien... Whatever, it's the green guy.
Watto?
No. It's his friend. It's like a schoolmate.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't have a name. How would you know his name?
He's schoolmate number 1.
Schoolmate? Yeah, he's alien. He just does this.
Actually, I think it's been retconned that is Greedo.
Really?
Yup.
Wow.
I'm gonna put $1 on it.
Wow. Well, look it up.
I know.
I don't know where you'd look it up at. But yeah, anyways, so Michelle Rodriguez is back in Resident Evil, and that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean...
Hopefully they'll get more shots of her looking down and then looking up really pissed off at the camera. Her go-to expression.
My favorite franchises are the franchises that have already killed off Michelle Rodriguez, and so this shakes me down to the core. I mean, I thought I was safe with those movies because they're doing the same thing in the Fast and Furious movies. They killed her. I was happy. They started making good movies. I was happier. And now she's back. And now I'm sad.
And no amount of The Rock in Fast 6 will make up for that. Do you think they'll call it V6?
No, I think it's going to be Six Furious. I'm not kidding. I think it's going to be Six Furious. Anyway.
I think the bigger question is, why are they even making another Resident Evil movie?
Because it makes tons of money.
It does. But the fourth one is shit.
You almost hit that right on cue from the last one. That's pretty good, Brad. I'm proud of you.
Shut up. This is the first time we've done this today.
And Brad wasn't even here the first time we did it.
That's right.
Oh, my phone is dead.
So, James, what do you got for me?
Oh, what other news we got? I was thinking we'd start with the good news, and then we'd go to the bad news, and then we'd go to the clearly recorded news. So, the good news is that the Alamo Drafthouse, which is this little chain of sort of indie theaters down in Texas, mostly in Austin.
San Antonio?
No,
hey,
I think it's in Austin.
Where's the basement of the Alamo?
There's no basement in the Alamo.
What?
Was that a joke we did the first time? I'm out of the joke. I don't know.
Oh, it's Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah. That movie scared me because of Big Bertha. Anyway.
Draft House. What's going on?
Oh, so the Draft House has decided that they want to expand their theater. I shouldn't do that while we're recording.
James is really excited about it. He's like cheering it on with his fist.
He is.
No, I'm trying to... My phone does this thing now where the screen goes completely white, and I used to be able to take the battery out and put it back in, and it would turn on. Now I have to take the battery out and shake it to get the circuits to all line up again, and then put the battery back in to get it to work. So that's what I was doing. Sorry. So the Alamo Drafthouse is expanding, and they've decided that Denver is going to be the first town that they expand to, which is pretty neat. They're putting one in Littleton in Aspen Grove, And it's a really cool place. They do alcohol, they do food. There's a little theater that you can rent for private parties.
Do you think I can rent The Amazing Spider-Man for that one?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I think you maybe would be able to afford 5 minutes.
You know that they do that at the local landmark theaters? Oh wait, that's Brad's line.
It is worth noting that Landmark here already does these things, but go on.
It is true, but we couldn't afford it. I don't think so. Ryan, do you think we could afford it?
No, but it's cool that different styles of theaters are coming, because one thing I will say about when we went to the film center, you usually get movie people, so you don't have to deal with the stupid crowds.
And this is the same kind of thing. In fact, there was a really good story about 6 months ago that your wife is a big fan of this drunk girl who was texting in a movie, and the Alamo Drafthouse just straight up kicked her out. And then she
oh my god, they
she
still
left
have ushers? That's great.
Yeah, she left this horrible message on their answering machine to complain about what they did, and she sounds horribly drunk, and it's really funny.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to have them there, to have them here. I mean, and hopefully it'll be really cool. The next thing is the Emmys, which long story.
Talk about this again.
Long story short, Steve Carell has never won for playing his role in The Office, which is a shame. And Community, for the second year in a row, gets completely snubbed with no nominations. Big Bang Theory is garbage, and Mad Men won for Best Drama.
And Mad Men is what we're doing right now, talking.
Yeah, but we're not having sex, which there's a lot of.
Maybe after this.
Well, here, let me shake my phone some more.
So now he's shaking it like he's jerking someone off.
I was shaking it like that before. And then the next thing that we need to talk about really quick is Netflix is gone stupid. We're continuing what is a new segment of what did they fuck up this week, with Netflix deciding to split their company in half. Ryan, had you heard about this before?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. So, which is amazing to me. What they're doing basically is Netflix is going to continue being the name for the streaming side of their company, but the videos in the mail, the DVDs in the mail, will now be called Quickster, and it'll also have video games. You'll be charged separately. There will be separate websites, and there will be 2 separate queues, which is really frustrating. It doesn't make the website any better. It doesn't make up for the fact that you're paying more. It actually makes me want to drop one and not the other.
Absolutely. And Quickster, what is that? Quick the Rabbit's zany cousin who's zany and full of spunk?
I believe it's because Netflix believes that their delivery service is so fast that they're trying to capitalize on that.
It sounds like an oil change place.
It sounds like Friendster.
Yeah, or Friendster, yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination between Friendster and Come and Go. Anyway.
Doesn't matter to me. I drop my DVDs by mail, so I'm only getting streaming now. So
that's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
You know what you should do? You live with your parents, so...
You know what I should do? I live with my parents, so I'll probably drop the streaming on my parents' account and drop the DVDs on my account, and then I'll probably talk about doing that again later.
Yeah, because we don't know exactly what we said after this part. But stay tuned if you really want to hear what we said originally. It's pretty much the same thing, and you want to listen to an annoying buzz. Brad's going to grace you with putting it at the end.
Very end. So
he loves putting it in the end of your whole...
Dude, that's not cool.
Brad, say bye.
Why would you... But
why would I?
Because then I can force you to do it now, since you're not going to do it at the end of the podcast.
Oh, that's right. You don't say bye at the end of the podcast. Bizarre.
Because it's weird. Implied, guys. Do I have to spell it out for our listeners every time?
We've really gotten off track, so hopefully we can get ourselves back on track.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Brad to edit.
You guys are ruining my life.
Anyway.
So, explaining more what Quickster does.
So here's the thing. Netflix is an amazing piece of branding. At this point, people don't say, I'm going to rent that movie. They tell their friends, you should Netflix it. It has become an actual word in the lexicon. No one is going to start saying, you should Quickster that movie. They're still going to say Netflix, but then it's going to be, every time that somebody says, you should Netflix this movie, it's going to remind them how frustrating using their Netflix account is now. It's unbelievable. I mean, they did such a good job, that red envelope with that name on it has become so iconic that to throw that away, I mean, it's still going to be a red envelope, but it's going to say Quickster from Netflix on it. It's idiotic, and it's.
Do they
I
think people are too stupid to know that Netflix is the same one and they need to split it up in two? So
No,
I don't know.
The way that this was announced was it was the CEO of Netflix wrote an open letter, which begins as a really good apology for what they've done. It starts off and he's saying like, I understand we haven't been talking to our customers well enough lately, and so I'm going to come out and explain to you why we did things.
He even said he was arrogant about his decisions.
He even said that he had been arrogant about it. That's right. And I started reading this and I thought, I've never really been a Netflix fan. I worked for Blockbuster. I was a big Blockbuster guy. And I started reading this and I was like falling in love with Netflix suddenly. I thought, you're going to be honest with me. This is great. Because I thought he's going to explain to me why they raised prices, which basically I was pretty sure it meant he was going to say, we wanted to raise prices so we could get more streaming, which is fine because I think it's a good service and I'm willing to pay for it. But that's not what he did. What he starts talking about is how they want to focus on the two businesses separately, and so they're completely splitting the company. Which I think their thought process there is they don't want it to be called Netflix if you're getting video games in the mail, and they also want to be able to advertise the two things separately. They want to be able to have commercials where they're saying like you can get DVDs really cheap in the mail, and it's a reaction to what we talked about last week where people were dropping Netflix because they didn't they saw their price hike and they didn't understand that since they were only using DVDs before, they could just cancel the streaming and only use DVDs now. But it's stupid. Like, they should have just come forward and said, this is why we did things, and then try to fix this instead of make everything worse. I mean, honestly, in my mind, this makes me, a guy who was willing to pay for both of them, want to cancel one or the other just because I don't want to have to deal with two separate things.
Yeah, it seems clumsy.
Yeah.
I canceled my DVD part, so...
Did you really? Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling I will, too. I've had My Neighbor Totoro in my room for 3 weeks now, just because I haven't watched it, but I've been watching a shit ton of Star Trek Next Generation on streaming.
Based on the fact that new releases are rarely available the same day that they're released, and then also the fact that most new releases are on standby, I was just like, I'm not gonna host a queue for this anymore. Like, I'm just gonna stream, and I'll either go to Redbox if I want something right away. That I rarely find myself wanting the new release the day of anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just,
and if you do, it's probably a movie you saw and you just want to go buy it anyway.
Yeah. Streaming is like, well, I really just want to watch TV shows. Streaming, so I don't have to buy disc sets and everything. So I was like, I guess I'm going to go with the streaming, and it's also the cheapest option. So
yeah, the streaming is the one that I use the most, in all honesty. But I liked having the DVD because it meant that I'm always trying to beef up the old movies that I haven't seen, like My Neighbor Totoro, though obviously I'm not that committed to it. And you can't get that catalog in the old one. Now, maybe they're doing this because they want to beef up their streaming so much that then that's never an issue. Maybe every movie would be on streaming. That would be great. But for now, this is stupid.
It's also a shame that, like, I also had Blu-ray discs on my queue, and I want to be able to preview and make sure that picture quality is good and stuff, and especially enjoy the high definitionness of my entertainment center. And but it's not that important to me. So
what I'll probably do, and this will be sly, since I'm living at home right now, I will probably cancel my DVDs and cancel my parents' streaming, and then just use them both in the same household. Because the other side of this is now, it is perfect timing. Dish has announced that since they bought Blockbuster, they are introducing a $10 a month DVD by the mail service, which is also intertwined with the stores, as well as if you pay for that and you're a Dish Network subscriber, you get this huge streaming service for $10 a month, which is
I heard about them doing that a long time ago. People thought the Dish Network CEO was crazy for buying Blockbuster.
I thought he was crazy for buying Blockbuster.
But he said he had a plan for it, and looks like he did.
Yeah. And he is lucky. Because right now it looks really good.
And look, everybody knows the Blockbuster logo comes in an envelope like that. Maybe it'll catch on.
Yeah, Blockbuster never, split their company into different things. I mean, they went down, but at least they went down still with a good name. Not Quickster, which is just... Anyway, the last little bit of news that I have is they're making a movie.
They
no,
are.
sorry, they're not making a movie. This is a TV show. This is even worse. They're making a TV show, which will be called Extreme Musical Chairs.
Wait, like really musical chairs?
Yeah, it'll be musical chairs,
But extreme.
but it'll be extreme.
Is it just going to be an X stream, or is it going to put the E in front of it? Because I want to know if this is
I think it'll be extreme.
I want to know if
Will
it's
be extreme enough.
mid '90s or if it's going to be.
No, it's just extreme musical
So
chairs.
it's a competition show with musical chairs.
It's some kind of competition show. It's not entirely clear like how it will be extreme, but it will not simply be musical chairs. They will be extreme.
Wow,
Probably, knives thrown at them, or
that'd be sweet.
I would bet
Over a Shark Tank.
I would bet that at some point there will be a challenge where there's actually the same number of chairs as contestants, and you run around. But then when you sit in a chair, one of the chairs will drop into a pool of water underneath.
Dude, you're in on the meetings. At this.
I think I might be. Yeah, I just came
It
up
was
with
your
that.
idea.
It took me 3 seconds to come up
It
with
was your
that
idea for extreme musical chairs. I know you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any other really big news this week.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Kind of a mellow week again. Seems like a lot of movies
Brad-
are filming right now.
Brad, how long have we been recording?
22 minutes.
22 minutes? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just keeping an eye
Oh.
for Sierra to make sure
Oh
everything's
yeah,
short.
we did get our first hate mail.
What?
Not like mailed to us, but text to James about CR went and saw Drive with us last week, and she said it takes too long for us to get to the review of the movie.
But we weren't supposed to mention that till the end because we're supposed to. I want to talk about mention Sierra at the end of a podcast because that'll make her listen to the whole thing.
Oh yeah, but we'll say something else about her at the end.
Oh sure, yeah.
Choose your own adventure.
Something mean.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our one critique.
Actually, I kind of agree with that. Like the last
Oh,
few
yeah, no,
episodes,
no.
you guys have been like a lot on news.
I agree
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
So-
and I'm trying to figure out like which things do we not talk about when they're announced because we're going to talk about them later anyway. Like do we need to talk about the fact that they're making a Point Break reboot? Well, yeah, we needed to talk about that because it's fucking stupid. But something like that, you could just wait until they make a Point Break movie and then insult it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so someone who hasn't even been here is going to critique us too. What a fucking dick.
You guys talk a lot about Community, which
Oh, I'm sure we'll talk about it more.
oh boy,
Brad, what have you been watching?
Maybe you could watch Community, Brad, and then you can be in on the in joke.
Have you
What?
been watching
I'm busy.
Community?
No.
Oh.
What a
Is it on
limp
streaming?
dick. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Oh. What have you been watching this week, Brad?
Nothing this week.
What have you
last
been
week
watching this week, right? No.
Okay.
You're
fine.
done. Next. What'd you see last week? You saw Drive, right?
Yeah, I saw Drive.
Oh, good. Did
And
you like it?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Oh, good.
Are you guys gonna watch Bronson now?
You know, I think it's on
well,
streaming. I probably
not.
will.
All right.
It's in my Quixer queue.
Actually, I know it's on streaming, so you know.
Oh, is it really? Oh, okay, good. Then it's in my Netflix queue.
Yeah, I like Drive a lot. There's a lot of tones of Bronson to it, so yeah.
Is that movie also mostly silent? Because that's the thing.
No,
you
no,
heard us
it's-
talk
it's-
about it.
The main character, like in Drive, the main character is pretty silent, but in Bronson, the character's more like more of a comedian. He's really goofy, but like the subject material is also brutal and harsh.
Yeah.
But just the overall aesthetic of it was very similar. Like there's the 80s synth music, and then
Really?
mixed with orchestral, and then the violence is
Yeah.
pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot harsher in Drive than Bronson.
Oh, okay.
So
Good,
I like
'cause
that.
I was a little afraid I wasn't going to watch Bronson now because I was afraid of the violence. But
But yeah, I saw Adaptation and The Good, Bad, and the Weird.
had
so-
you not seen Adaptation before?
Mm-mm.
Really? Did you
Yeah.
like it?
Yeah, it's a movie I'll have to watch twice. 'Cause
Yeah.
I kind of latched onto it towards the second half.
Right. Exactly.
But I was talking to someone else about it, and they pointed out some things that I missed. So
When you're sort of supposed to. Ryan, have you seen Adaptation?
I have.
Yeah. So it's sort of a movie where, or at least in my interpretation of the movie, where the first half of the movie is kind of like what a movie about a book about flowers would be like, and then you get in,
well, I guess the first half kind of sets up how to write what happens in the second half. So
yeah.
no, I didn't catch that.
I like
so
that.
I'll watch it again.
That's a very meta,
yeah,
fun movie.
It's a meta movie.
What was the other one?
And I also watched it on a laptop, which is always tough.
Oh,
Yeah, to watch movies on, but it's
Yeah.
fine. And then The Good, the Bad, the Weird, which is an Asian Western, I guess. which again I was kind of lost the first half, and then it all kind of came together towards the second half where they're trying to find this treasure that doesn't turn out to be what they expect, and it's pretty cool. A lot of action.
Is it
really
like?
action-y.
Is it new? Is it like?
It's from like a year or two ago, maybe.
Oh, what was
heard
it?
of it.
Yeah, Sukiyaki Django. Is it like that? Did
I haven't
you see?
seen that one.
Oh,
no.
okay.
So
That movie's weird.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it since I haven't seen it. So that's what I've been watching. Ryan, what did you watch?
This week I have been watching Star Wars: The Complete Saga on Blu-ray.
We knew that next.
That's my lightsaber sound. That was pretty awesome.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, the movies sound out of this world. Maybe the best mix of any movie I've ever heard. And I mean, I just bought a surround sound bar, and when a spaceship comes from like the top right of your screen and comes all the way down, it actually moves through the speakers, and it was like shaking my fucking house. It was awesome. And I got no complaints from the people upstairs. I'm surprised because I was watching one
You
of
did,
them.
but you just can't translate
yeah,
Spanish, so.
totally. No, the people above me are freaking Middle
if
Eastern.
you hear Kayate, then you should stop.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And I also got Dumbo on Blu-ray, which is an amazing movie.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it.
You've
I have
never
to
seen
admit,
Dumbo?
No.
I've tried to watch it twice as an adult, and I've fallen asleep each time.
Really? When I watched it as a kid, I wasn't a big fan, but when I watched it recently as an adult, I thought it was a way better movie than I remembered.
Well, you watch it for the racist crows, so.
I do.
I was
I ain't never seen an elephant fly. No way, no how.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
But no, the
Oh.
movie's fantastic, and on Blu-ray, it looks like they animated it yesterday. And I remember some people don't like that. Some critics didn't like that they did the same thing to Pinocchio, where they went through and Disney literally went frame by frame and cleaned it all up.
Yeah.
But they said these movies should look rough. I don't agree with that. I think that the artist painted and created these characters to look that bright and vibrant. And Dumbo is another example of an amazing piece of animation.
Yeah, that's like arguing that Metropolis should be watched uncleaned entirely so that every frame has like gook and places where the film is tearing apart and like
Yeah, exactly.
that doesn't make sense.
If I want to see a movie like that, I'll see one that's on purpose, like Grindhouse. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. But it's Leonard Maltin's favorite Disney movie too. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's what I watched, and I don't think the Star Wars are that bad.
The prequels.
Yeah, I mean, me and James got into it yesterday.
Yeah.
Because he thinks
fought.
We need to sit down and do a commentary. For
Ryan
this movie.
split my lip.
Totally.
Wow.
I just kept on
That's
pounding
brutal.
on it too. The packaging's really cool for the set.
It is. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
I disagree.
I think
It
it's
doesn't
really
scream
cool.
Star Wars to me at all.
I think it's really cool, and I would kill for a copy of Star Wars that sounds as good as Brad says it sounds. But
I didn't say it sounds good.
sorry, Ryan.
But I mean, we got into it because he like you believes Phantom Menace is the best prequel, and I really, really strongly disagree. And I
Actually,
I think
don't.
I think
According
they're
to
all
your blog,
shit
you
and
said
would like to not own
You
any of
understand,
them.
huh?
I think they're all shit and would like to not own any of them. But
no. There's some parts in the Phantom Menace. I think really, really, if Jar Jar Binks and Boss Nass were not in the Phantom Menace, I think it actually would hold up a lot better.
Yeah.
And if Anakin Skywalker didn't come home and says, "I'm going to be a Jedi," yippee!
Yep.
You go, wait, what?
yeah, there's that's the thing. That movie to me is a good movie with elements of bad, whereas the other two movies I think are bad movies.
See, I actually thought the
With
Attack of the
elements
Clones
of
was
good.
better than I remembered it.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
I mean, it's been a while since it's been a couple of years since I saw it. I watch those movies way more than I should. But no, I still think that the first one we were talking about this yesterday, and the thing that I want out of Star Wars, and the thing that the television show kind of promises, though it's been 10 years that they've been promising a television show, so it may never happen. But I want somebody to tell me a story in the Star Wars universe that is not tied in with the canon we already have. I don't, Darth Vader can be there, killing good guys or whatever, or you could run into Han. Well, you can't now because he's old, but you could run into certain characters. But I want that universe, but new stories told in that universe. I don't really want the prequel series. But the first one, to me, is the most like what I just said. It's a story that doesn't really involve all of this turning somebody into Darth Vader garbage. It's really just like, oh, well, these guys are doing some political stuff to this planet, and it's bad, and then there's Jedi, and we have to stop them, and, and there are shitty elements in there like Jar Jar Binks, but the story itself, I think, is the tightest script that doesn't have all this flabby like love story that doesn't make sense. And
see, the problem with the Phantom Menace though is you get scenes with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden you get like grinded to a halt because you hear, "It's a muy bad master. It's a bad. He's a." Unnecessary, and it totally
no, it is.
It stops the momentum, any momentum that movie has, because even the lightsaber battle at the end and the droid, those things are amazing. But then I have to sit there and see Jar Jar runs like, "Oh no, me gonna get run over!"
Well, to be fair, he's not saying anything while he's about to get run over.
I'm pretty sure he is.
You're filling. I think you were like making fun of him.
Well, I was doing it. I was
and then
in my
you
house.
thought that was actually him talking.
But the Attack of the Clones. I think I wrote in my blog too. The biggest problem is really Hayden Christensen, because it seems like he's literally reading like a teleprompter. And I think the line he delivers the worst is every time he calls Obi-Wan Master, because it's like he's trying to be arrogant and cool, and he says, "Of course, Master. I didn't want to upset you."
Yeah.
And then he jumps off the spear. And he's like, "Oh, I hate when he does that."
Me
too. I really do.
Anakin Skywalker looks is so whiny that he makes Luke Skywalker look good. Like he makes you kind of like Luke because Anakin is so much more whiny.
Yeah, I think you guys should rewatch it because Attack of the Clones isn't that bad.
Fuck, I don't want to rewatch.
Except the candle. Oh God, who cares, Brad? Don't sit there and direct me in my show.
It's like 30 minutes already.
Was he
30 minutes?
telling you to wrap it up?
He was telling me to wrap it up.
Oh, well, I wasn't listening anyway. I'm reading articles.
All right, what did you watch this week, James? Tell me to wrap it up.
Well, I got a few things. First, I want to burn through these horrible TV shows that I watched, because this is the first week of new TV shows, and there's some stuff that
Season
I thought
premieres.
in series premieres, none of these are shows these are all new shows. Anyway, most of them are bad. Person of Interest came out this week. It was on Thursday. It's written by Jonathan Nolan, who is Christopher Nolan's brother, and I thought, cool. And then it's got Michael Emerson from Lost, who I adore, and then it's got Jesus. And I thought, okay, well that could probably be good. It's not. It's really horrible. I was surprised though it has Natalie Z in it, who is from Justified and a couple other shows. But what the show boils down to is, well, I guess I should tell you, it's about. Okay, Michael Emerson's character has a computer, and it gives him the social security numbers of people who, in the next 48 hours, are going to have either they're going to die or they're going to kill somebody or something bad is going to happen surrounding them.
Like the Minority Report thing.
Yes, sort of. And then Jim Caviezel and Michael Emerson have to figure out what's going on with that person and try and save them. But what the show boils down to is pretty much every commercial break, you come back to the show and you watch Jim Caviezel with some binoculars watching a scene take place over there, and then that scene is over, and then he's like, "This is what we learned," and then at the end there's a little twist, and all the stuff you think you learned isn't actually true, and then they shoot somebody or send somebody to jail, and it's not interesting. It's not very well written. There's a line in there where the one sort of turn that I liked was that they reveal that the computer was built after 9/11 to try and predict things like that, and what Michael Emerson reveals is that the government still has the machine and they use it to try and avoid big things when lots of people are going to die, but the computer deletes the names of when a couple people are going to die, and that's what he's using that because he wants to save these little people. And I thought that was going to be cool, but in that conversation he also says that he was working in New York on the day of 9/11 but didn't know it had happened till that evening, and I was like, no, who wrote this garbage? No one had that experience. Not a single person had that experience. And it was those kind of lines where they just sort of drop the ball, and Jim Caviezel's hamming it up. Most of the movie he's just he shows up with a big gun and either shoots it at somebody or he doesn't. Or show, I should say. Anyway, it's not good. The new girl with Zoe Deschanel, not good. The two broke girls with Kat Dennings, not good. Kat Dennings is pretty good, and I will probably watch the next episode.
She has big boobs.
She does. And she's fantastic in that show. Like, you know, you give her comedy to do, and she will deliver it. But I think it's not as good a comedy as she makes it out to be. And then everybody else is given the same level of shitty comedy, and then they play it flat and garbagey. And the premise is kind of neat, but it's not good. And then the Playboy Club. Now, the Playboy Club is one of two shows that are, you know, finally in the wake of Mad Men, where they want to capitalize on all this nostalgia drama stuff. Did either of you watch the Playboy Club? Okay, I didn't think so.
I could see the ads for the show and say, I'm not going to watch that.
No, I didn't think I was going to watch it either.
Pretty.
But I wanted to give it a shot.
She's also pretty in Drive Angry. It didn't help that movie either.
What would you say if I told you that 10 minutes into that show, when you still hardly know the two main characters, they are dumping a body in the river together? I was dumbfounded.
What's the show about? I thought it was about a nightclub.
It is. It's about a nightclub, but
Playboy Club in Chicago. Am I correct?
Yeah, but they don't set up characters. It starts, and like 10 minutes in, this guy tries to rape her, and she kills him with her shoe, accident. Like she's trying to kick him off and stabs him in the neck with her heel.
Nice.
And then you find out that he was in the mob. And if the show could be interesting if instead they had spent the whole first episode setting up these characters and this world, and then at the end that happened and she stabbed the guy in the neck. But instead the whole first episode is like you're supposed to have liked this character even though you don't know who she is, and the rest of the episode is wondering whether or not she's going to get caught, and her kind of whining and being afraid, and it completely misses the point of why Mad Men is good if you're somebody who likes Mad Men, because that's a show that is subtle, and the truth is the first episode doesn't set up a lot of what Mad Men ends up being. The first episode actually...
They just talk in Mad Men? Because that set up the premise for me.
Well, they do, but like the first episode of Mad Men, you go through the whole episode and he's sleeping with these people and he's doing all this advertising stuff, and then at the end he goes home to his wife and kids. And you realize, like, this guy has a wife and kids, and it changes the way you view that whole episode, and then that becomes a whole new factor in the show.
My favorite thing is to tear down Mad Men because everybody loves it, but I think it's not good.
I know. But
if you're tired, turn it on, you'll fall asleep.
My point is, I feel like if you want to make a show that's this kind of drama, you put the hook at the end. You know? Like, if people are going to watch the show and give it a chance, you don't really need to put the hook at the beginning and be like, see, this is what the show's going to be about, don't turn it off after the first commercial. No. Put the hook at the end so that they come back the next week. You know?
Yeah.
Introduce us to characters that we like, and then at the end say, like, you know, and then the plot is going to be this, you know? Then give us a little hint of where it's going to go. You know, Lost is the same way, where that whole first episode is them crashing, and you meet those characters, and then there's little hints that there's something wrong with the island, you know? So the Playboy Club is bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you're right. If you want to set up a show, I mean, one of my favorite episodes of Buffy isn't actually the reveal of Angelus turning bad, is the build-up to them fucking, and then at the end of the episode, he just runs out, and you're like, what the hell? And the episode ends. And then you turn it on next when you find out that he turned bad.
Yeah. And then the other thing I saw was I finally saw Limitless, which is the movie with Bradley Cooper from earlier this year, that is directed by the guy, I don't remember his name, but he's the guy who right now is in charge of the Uncharted movie, which is part of why I wanted to see it. And it is well directed, and it is a pretty good movie. Like, I would suggest if it's on streaming or something, if it's on Netflix, I could say. If it's on Netflix, you know, you might watch it on Netflix, but the problem is that most of the movie is narrated, and it's only an hour and a half long, so it makes it feel really long. I kind of wanted it to be a 2-hour movie where they told the story well instead of actually telling you the story. But anyway, that's what I watched.
Nice.
Not really. It was a lot of garbage.
Yeah, it didn't sound too good. I forgot I did see The Office without Michael Scott, and it's still pretty funny. I was laughing when Jim asked for Dwight to throw him his phone, and he threw it as hard as he could. And he's like where Brad is to me.
And the new episode of Community was this week, and it was really good. But the problem is I'm always looking for like a TV show. Terriers is the example I keep going back to. Last year, I missed the beginning of Terriers, and then when I got onto it, I already knew that it was going to get canceled, and it was amazing. And I really wanted to... I wish I had found that show when it started so I could tell my parents to watch it, because I'm always looking for... I'm glad they don't listen to the podcast. I'm always looking for a show that is fun and episodic, but also well written for them to watch, because they watch way too much just junk, So nothing so far. I'm very disappointed.
Right on. Well, I guess we'll speed up and do the trailer for Moneyball. I don't want Brad to give me the roll sign again.
I still think we should quickly review Moneyball before we do the trailer.
Okay, fine.
Ryan, should people see Moneyball?
Oh, yeah, people should definitely see Moneyball.
Brad, should people see Moneyball?
I think it's worth seeing.
Yeah, I think so too. Trailer.
There are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
That's $1, man.
What?
Welcome to Oakland.
I need more money.
We're not New York. Find players with the money that we do have.
I like Perez.
Got an ugly girlfriend. Ugly girlfriend means no confidence.
You guys are talking the same old nonsense like we're looking for Fabio. We got to think differently.
Who's Fabio?
Your goal shouldn't be to buy players. Your goal should be to buy wins. And in order to buy wins, you need to buy runs.
Who are you?
I'm Peter Brand.
First job in baseball?
It's my first job anywhere.
We're gonna shake things up. Why don't you walk me through the board?
I believe there's a championship team that we can afford because everyone else undervalues them, like an island of misfit toys.
We want you at first base.
I've only ever played catcher.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
He can't throw. But what can he do?
You want me to speak?
We're not pointing you yet.
He gets on base.
We are card counters at the blackjack table. We're gonna turn the odds on the casino. I'm heading in. Text me the play-by-play.
Wait, what?
I don't watch the games.
Billy Beane has tried to reinvent a system that's been working for years. It was a nice theory, just not working out.
How long is Billy Beane gonna last?
He's proven himself right out of a job.
In their minds, it's threatening the game. It's threatening the way that they do things.
Hey, Daddy, do you think you'll lose your job?
What? Where did you hear that?
Well, I go on the internet sometimes.
Don't go on the internet. Watch TV or talk to people.
You're discounting what scouts have done for 150 years?
What the hell am I doing?
What is happening in Oakland?
It defies everything we know about baseball.
Just plain crazy.
If we win with this team, we'll have changed the game. This better work. I'm just kidding.
He's so handsome.
He is.
My wife doesn't like baseball, but she wanted to see this movie because Brad Pitt was in it.
I don't really like baseball, but I wanted to see this movie.
Because Brad Pitt was in it, and he's dreamy? I mean, you can say it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're amongst friends.
Yeah. No, actually, it's because it's an Aaron Sorkin script. But
yeah, and it was good.
It is. So what'd you think?
Well, it was a movie of subtlety. I couldn't believe how Philip Seymour Hoffman is, I think, the third listed actor in it, and he really doesn't do anything. I guess
he doesn't do a lot, but what he does, I think he does well.
Yeah,
he gets grumpy a lot in this movie.
I guess it's supposed to prove that the manager was passive, and Billy Beane and Pete are the ones who are really behind the turnaround in Oakland.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're Art Howe when you went and saw this movie, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" And
or he may have said that and then went home and went, "Well, yeah, I mean, to be completely honest." Yeah,
because I guess the movie, we should set the movie. Brad Pitt plays Billy Beane, who's a GM of the Oakland A's, and anybody who follows sports knows that in baseball, the disparity between the best team, the Yankees, and like Oakland or Minnesota payrolls is gigantic. I mean, it's $100 million. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of fascinating seeing how he has to make a team work after he lost 3 of his biggest stars. And yeah, I mean, it's a baseball movie, but it's really not dealing with baseball.
Not at all.
Baseball is a backdrop.
The business side of baseball.
It's certainly
you rarely ever see.
Yeah, it's very far from like The Natural or For the Love of the Game or something like that, where it's about a player.
I love For the Love of the Game.
And oddly enough, it also had some of the best on the field shots I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Courtesy of Wally Pfister.
It had, I think, some of the most
emotional. Wally Pfister, is it The Dark Knight? Yeah, that's where he's from.
And Batman Begins.
Yeah, I'm like, I know that name of that director of photography. And
And it's also, I think, has some of the most emotional scenes with the players themselves. It's got sort of a, not throwaway, but it has this the little subplot about one particular player that has an amazing payoff and an amazing. It's Hatterberg, who, everything about Billy Bean's story rests on that guy, but then that guy himself is given this really nice little arc as far as him thinking that he's out of baseball, and then
actually one of my favorite ones was the scene he had with David Justice. And being a sports fan, I mean, I know David Justice in the mid-'90s was an amazing baseball player. And he was arrogant. He played on the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves were so good in the mid-'90s. They won the AL East so many times. I mean, NL East. And so when he had that conversation when he was in the batting cages, basically telling him, like, take one for the team, man. And he said... one of my favorite lines is he says, well, you're paying me $7 million. He says, actually, I'm only paying you $3.5 million. The Yankees are paying you $3.5 million to play against them. And kind of gives him that extra motivation. I thought that's kind of a cool little
that's a good one.
Scene, being a sports fan.
Yeah, I'm really actually glad that I'm not a sports person, and what happened was I saw the movie yesterday, and then today I went and saw it with you again, and I'm really glad that happened, because what I noticed is that the first time I watched it, because I'm not a sports fan, and so I didn't know the story that well, I feel like I was paying a lot of attention to the technical story as far as what they achieved and how they changed baseball and exactly what they were doing. And so what that meant was that I sort of missed some of the emotional story. And so what's funny is the first time I watched the movie, there's a scene at the end that is easily the funniest scene in the movie. It's the scene when they're watching the video.
Yeah.
Right. That everybody else in the theater is laughing, and the first time I watched it, I laughed too. And the second time I watched it, everybody else was laughing, and I was like starting to cry. Because the second time I watched that movie, I realized that for me, it's not a movie about baseball, and it's not even a movie about this guy changing baseball. It's about Billy Bean proving to himself that he didn't completely screw up his life. Because he is so filled with regret. And the thing about Brad Pitt is that when he comes on the screen, he seems so charismatic that I think he covers up the fact that at the first 20 minutes, he's actually a little bit pathetic. He's a little bit like he wants things to be better, but he feels like he's shackled and he can't really do anything about it. And he's trying to do something with this team to prove that this mistake that he made when he was young hasn't ruined his life. And then in the end, it's not even what he decides to do at the end is so powerful and wonderful that it kills me. It really, this movie yesterday when I saw it was really good, and today it is amazing.
Brad, what do you think about the movie?
I liked it a lot.
Wow, that was insightful. Anyways, continue.
No, really, Brad.
Yeah, really. When you do that,
no, really.
I have a hard time articulating my thoughts. I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie of Billy Bean, like how they portray. They give you the sense that he deep down feels like he was misjudged, and he wants to correct that by using the system to prove all those people who put him on this path that he is now, to kind of throw it back in their face and prove them wrong. And he uses Hatterberg as like a direct vessel for that,
right?
So, sometimes I feel misjudged and worthless, so it just kind of connects.
Brad, why do you feel worthless? You're
I'm not going to go on about that on the episode. I'm just saying that the emotional resonance is there. Like I really feel like they conveyed that through the movie really well. And I went in mostly thinking like, okay, I'm going to watch a movie about a baseball. And like you, the first time I was watching for like, I don't remember the Oakland A's winning any championships. So where's this movie going?
Yeah.
Recently. So I was kind of mostly focused on that. And as I was watching all the metaphors of the movie unfold, I started to pay attention to that exact aspect of Billy Bean's self-imposed
guilt.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and acting out on it through, like using the system, and then the end part where he's listening to his daughter's song in the car. and we're in spoiler territory, so
Yeah,
she's calling him a loser. Like I was.
Well, that's just as a joke.
Okay.
I mean, that's.
I was like, is the movie trying to say that he is a loser for not taking that job?
No. It's more.
I was like,
it's more that if there weren't a little bit of her personality in that song at the end, then the song at the end just becomes a song. Whereas you have her do something like that where she's making fun of her dad as a way to remind you that this is his daughter singing to him. At least that's how
I thought it was the movie trying to explain to the audience, like, whoa, he really screwed up by not taking that job.
No, it's just
when he went to Boston, I was like, oh, well, this is 2002, right?
So
and
it's 2 years before
Boston won the World Series, so this must be where the story's going, is that he was responsible for that championship, and I guess not.
No, well, Theo Epstein is the general manager of Boston.
But he is, because he proves that this theory is, that we get that amazing Aaron Sorkin moment where the owner of the Red Sox gives this spiel about, like, the first guy who goes through the wall is always the one who gets chewed up the most, and it may not look like it now, but you have changed things, and so he has won as far as that's concerned there. And then the question is, at his very core, when he's presented with the same mistake that he made before, as far as choosing money over, in this case, his daughter, he chooses his daughter. Because that's where that scene gets so good to me, is because it's not even about, you think that he's trying to do all of this to prove to himself that he hasn't, just failed his whole life. And in the end, it's almost schlocky and cheesy as he goes, well, I haven't, because I have my daughter, Like, how can he go and be successful in Boston and not be able to go home to his daughter? And that's that killer moment where that's the home run that he doesn't realize he missed, even though she has like 2 scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
That
also, didn't the Rockies have a longer win streak, like in 2007?
They did.
So this.
But this is after he changed things. 2 different games.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the Rockies use that
system? The Rockies don't have a big payroll, so they have to put people in place that, can fill a need. I mean, you get lucky. I mean, Troy Tulowitzki, the Rockies drafted him. And then you got someone like Carlos Gonzalez, who the Rockies got from the Oakland A's for Matt Holliday. It works out. And I think this is actually Brad Pitt's best performance in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can actually see the character grow throughout the movie.
Absolutely. Where
he starts off as, I don't watch the games, I don't have the payroll I want, so I can't keep these players. They take everything away from me. What can I do? And Jonah Hill is really good at it too. Is kind of like they take away his zaniness, of course, but it gets him to look at things a whole new way, and he decides he's not going to have a relationship with the players. But what really turns the team around is when he actually starts going in and talks to him as a player, not as I'm the boss and I got you on my team. It's take a pitch, lead this team. And
yeah, because that's the moment where he's not even just, they're doing this whole card counting kind of style of managing the team, and at that point he's not just doing that. He's also teaching the players
exactly
how they can better help that format. He's almost telling them to stop playing the game that the way they've always played it.
Yeah.
He's really impressive.
And I love the scene where Jonah Hill his character Pete has to send away Carlos Pena, and he has this really nice thing that has athletics, logo on it. It says that you need to call, and he says, okay, thanks. And then Billy Bean calls Jeremy Giambi and he gives him a Post-it with someone he needs to call and sends him on his ways. Subtle little things like that are pretty funny.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it's a really good script because of things like, like you were talking about, what's his name? Howe, Andy. Right? Andy Howe?
Art Howe.
Art Howe, sorry. He's sort of villainized so much at the beginning, and then he does have a moment where he gets to kind of redeem himself.
Yeah.
And so even that guy, like, gets this little bit of an arc where he finally turns around, and it's a really great movie.
It's just funny because, Philip Seymour Hoffman, his whole role in that movie is just to look disgruntled. He has that one moment at the beginning where he says, I can't manage on a 1-year contract, and they're not going to give it to him because it's Oakland A's, and so he kind of manages that way, but then he realizes he's part of something different.
Did Art Howe get an extension after that year? Or?
I don't remember. I think he won Manager of the Year, though.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, according to the movie, he was a dick.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to if your team won 20 games in a row. I'd be and made the playoffs. I mean, Jim Tracy won Manager of the Year, and his team didn't even make the playoffs. No, they did. I'm sorry, the Rockies did make the playoffs and lost in the wild card 2 years ago to the Phillies, but they had the same run. Like they won 13 of 14, and he still won Manager of the Year. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Speaking of Seymour Hoffman, we were talking about it's directed by a guy named Bennett Miller, who I didn't really know who that was, and he's the guy who directed Capote. That's the last movie he did before this one.
So maybe Philip Seymour Hoffman maybe recommended him or something.
Oh, and I didn't talk about before. I meant to look this up and I can't find it. This was a movie that was originally supposed to be directed by Steven Soderbergh and was a couple weeks away, maybe even a week away from starting filming, and then something fell apart and Soderbergh stepped away, and the truth is I'm fine with it now because it turned out to be an amazing movie. I was always afraid because I want every script by Aaron Sorkin to get the best director and become the best movie, and so I was afraid if they give him some other guy and it gets fucked up, but it's fantastic.
I did read an article. It was in Entertainment Weekly, and Brad Pitt talks about that.
Oh, really?
He said that he was nervous with this guy coming in because it was really hard for him to get this movie made because, one, it's a movie about baseball. Baseball movies don't do that well. And he took a pay cut, obviously, for it because he believed in it, and he's the one who really got it going.
Wow.
And so, yeah, you brought that up, and I was trying to remember exactly what he said, and I don't want to misquote him because I'm sure he listens to this all the time, and I don't want Brad Pitt to get mad at me.
And the other writer on the movie, there's Aaron Sorkin, and then the other guy is the guy who wrote Hannibal and Gangs of New York and American Gangster, and then he wrote the new version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, wow. Which actually looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like that trailer was really long.
I know.
Really long
I saw it yesterday. I looked away.
Yeah, exactly.
I stopped watching it because David Fincher movies have really nice style, and I don't want to remember any of the shots when I see that movie.
It's really bizarre because, like I was talking to James earlier, the first one is just this music playing and they don't talk in it. It just shows like quick clips. And then this one, I swear, how long do you think that trailer was? Like 3.5 minutes.
It's like a condensed version of the movie.
3 hours. It's 3 hours.
Linear.
It's 3 minutes and 36 seconds long. Because I saw it on the internet.
It's a long trailer, and for them to literally go through each beat of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they sort of go through a lot of the beats of getting the characters together.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so hopefully the mystery part they haven't spoiled anything of. But yeah, I mean, it's not that first trailer is one of the best trailers of the year.
I agree, but maybe it's because the Swedish versions are really popular too of the movie, so maybe they think that everybody's seen them. That
I'm hoping there's less rape in the new one. I'm not.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, Fincher never really holds back in his movies, so.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to watch people get raped.
Yeah, it's never fun. I mean, if you told me that you wanted to watch people being raped, I'd be a little more worried about you. Because then it would really be the last episode of Real Nerds.
Yeah. And the little girl in the movie, she did really well.
She did.
Yeah, because she's got a couple of hard emotional beats to hit. She does a good job.
And they couldn't get a good actor to play Anakin Skywalker.
Well, that's just
as a little boy.
Yippee! The worst. That's because there's a feature on the original Episode 1 DVD where because there's a feature for everything on that DVD. That was my first DVD. My first DVD was Star Trek.
Really, mine was WrestleMania 15.
Ew.
It's Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There's a whole documentary on them casting Jake Lloyd, and the majority of that video, I noticed this now, but I didn't think about it at the time. It's mostly about finding somebody who kind of looks like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. It wasn't a lot of them having him do lines. It was mostly who kind of looks like he could be their dad.
You know what I found out about him? He's lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. Jake Lloyd.
For how long?
He was born here.
Oh wow!
And he went on to do Star Wars and made people hate him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he doesn't do interviews anymore.
No, he quit acting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Star Wars scarred him for life.
Because he wasn't good at it. I mean, because he didn't want to do it anymore.
Anyways,
Anyway.
you should go see a good movie, and that's Moneyball.
Oh, it's fantastic. Though we should talk about this movie. Just attracts old people.
Oh yeah, we
They're
forgot to talk about
worse
the
than
old people.
stoners.
I won't go that far, but
I think they're worse than stoners.
I did like the old lady in front of us when they hit a home run. She's like, "Oh,
wait.
geez."
Hang on. When the sound in the movie drops out to be really poignant, and you're just supposed to watch.
Yeah.
Just supposed to watch the scene unfold and watch the moment of greatness happen. And then the old lady says,
"Oh, geez." For crying, what'd she say when they
he hit a home run?
Oh, he hit a home run.
When he hit the home run, she just went, he hit a home run. Of course he did, lady.
Thanks,
Watch
lady.
the movie. Oh,
I wasn't sure
man.
because they didn't actually show it yet.
Well,
I was kind of waiting to see. Maybe it's a triple. Maybe it's a double.
Yeah, but good
and then she
news.
explains it, and then everyone's surprised.
Aren't you glad she was there? Because you wouldn't have known by watching it.
Well, I'm sure
seeing
if
it going over the wall.
If I had waited 2 or 3 more seconds, I would have just seen it.
Yeah, but she helped you. Really.
Yeah, she just kind of got to the point for me.
But it's funny because before we went, James was talking the show he saw yesterday. He was there and he says, "Why do old people just sit there and talk throughout the movie?" And
Well, it's because yesterday, yesterday there was a guy 2 seats down from me who at one point, had a 10, 15-second conversation with his wife, pretty loud, about the fact that he'd never seen Philip Seymour Hoffman's hair cut that short. I was like, see, why do you need to talk about that in the movie? And, part of that is the kind of stuff... We haven't talked about the fact that this movie is really quiet. There is not a lot of... There's very little music. There are a lot of scenes where there's dialogue, but not a lot of actual sound in the background for a reason. There's actually a scene where they explain to you why the first half of the movie is silent. And I think that because of that, those things in a normal movie, when there's music and stuff like that, people whispering to each other would be okay. You wouldn't hear it. But it's so quiet, but apparently these people just cannot contain themselves. They have to say something.
I know. I never got that. I never had the urge in a movie, like, home run, round those bases, round them.
Being rude has no age limit.
I know. Isn't that bizarre?
Oh, and that lady also, when they were 11-0, and then the other team started coming back, she was adding it up, and she would
She added up wrong. Did you hear added up wrong?
Yeah, there was one point she was like, that's 11. And then it was 10.
It showed 10 on the screen.
And
Yeah,
I was
it's
looking
10
for
on
her
the
to be...
screen.
I was hoping she would go, oh.
But no, she just played
She
it cool.
just waited and then was like, home run.
She's like, I hope no one heard me.
Oh. And
Before,
it's a shame because she was 11-1 years old. So
11-1?
I'm sure she was, I'm sure she was a really nice lady, but she needs to stay home.
She's sitting there going like, when are the avatars going to be on screen? Totally wrong movie. Poor old lady.
Oh.
Before we end this podcast, I'll end it with a Brad Pitt story I read on the internet.
Okay. The fuck was that noise?
I have no idea. It's
my God.
it's them rolling around on there. They play barrel of monkeys with each other. So Brad Pitt is filming World War Z right now, and he saved an extra from being trampled.
No way.
Yeah, there's a huge scene where they're filming and people are panicking because zombies are chasing him, and I guess an extra got toppled over and people were starting to run over her, and he ran and filmed, picked her up, and ran with her to the end of the shot. And this is how cool Brad Pitt is. When they interviewed him in Entertainment Weekly, he's like, I saved somebody. He said, hey, I'm not going to let someone fall and get hurt. He's so cool that he literally saved somebody from being trampled, and it's not a big deal to him.
Did they use that shot?
Dude, they
in
should
the
use
movie?
that shot in the
They
movie.
should
That'd
totally
be awesome.
use that shot in the movie.
So Brad Pitt, he might cheat on his wife, but he's still a...
Wait, he cheated on his wife?
Yeah, with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, did he? That was... I don't
I thought they
actually...
were
I
dating.
don't read People magazine, so I don't actually understand when these things happen.
I love Jennifer Aniston, so she was wronged.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways, so next
week, Ryan.
we are seeing 50-50.
Yeah, we are.
I
am so excited.
James already told me this is going to be the best movie of the year.
No, that's not what I said.
Wow, it's pretty
I
bold.
said it's going to be one of my favorites.
I think it has a 50-50 chance of being the best.
Well, this week I will go see Abduction, and I'll let you guys know if it lives up to the
Will you
Taylor
really?
Lautner.
If you really go,
no.
I'll go with you.
I will not spend money on that
Ryan,
movie.
I'll go with you.
If someone says, "Hey Ryan,
we
here's
could buy
a
tickets to
free
Moneyball
ticket
and then-
to go see Abduction," I said, "Can you just kidnap me, roll me in carpet, and throw me in a river instead?" Because
We could buy tickets to The Machine Gun Preacher and go see Abduction instead. Actually, I would rather go see The Machine Gun Preacher.
yeah,
Or
we can
Killer
go
Elite.
see that?
What?
We can go see that?
Machine Gun Preacher? We can't, like, right now. Yeah, we could leave right now and go see Machine. Do you want to go see Machine Gun?
Sweet.
All right.
It's getting really bad reviews. By the
Is
way.
it really?
Yeah.
Oh
If
man,
it's
but it's
Creature
got
bad.
Michelle Monaghan right here in this picture.
I'll tell you right now. This is how bad people think Abduction is. When I was on Rotten Tomatoes, looking at the critic score, Creature is at 6%, and Abduction is at 4%. It might have changed, but that's what it was at last time I saw it.
A couple weeks ago, though, I was going to on the podcast read a good review for Creature because it's amazing. It's amazing how that guy twists garbage into good things. Oh, and he at the time he was the only good review on Rotten Tomatoes for that movie. I think that's why it's 6%, because so few people saw it and reviewed it anyway that one guy could get 6%.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's Abduction?
Yeah, Abduction is 3% now.
So yeah,
Machine Gun Preacher 22, Dolphin Tale 83. Moneyball. Oh, I was really afraid that Moneyball was going to be less than Dolphin Tale, but it's 94 for good reason.
Speaking of reviews, Ryan, how can people review our podcast?
People can review our podcast by liking us on Facebook and telling us we do a good job. They can also send us an email, realnerds@gmail.com. If you're Sierra, you can just text James and and say why you don't like us.
But in all seriousness, send us email.
Yeah, send us
email.
email.
If you're listening, send us... I'll do this joke again. Send us an email telling me to no longer use the joke, forward us your spam.
And yeah, and you can also follow us on Tumblr, realnerds.tumblr.com, and make sure you pick up some Birdman barbecue sauce. That's all I got.
I didn't do that yet. I'm going
You should.
to.
It's delicious.
I know. I don't know.
Joe told me the favorite part of that commercial is, this chicken tastes like shit.
I just listened to the Real Gamers podcast. I heard that.
So yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
And Brad says nothing.
Don't need to. It's implied.
You know what, Brad? Bye.
Oh, you're going to show me the finger again. I didn't know if you were going to do it because you said, "Are you ready?" And then there's
I
this,
wasn't going to, but I
there's
was
this
like, "Oh yeah,
pause.
that's what I do."
I was waiting
so
for
it.
I was waiting for it to happen. I was just waiting. Welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. To my left is
Brad.
To my right is
James.
I'm in the middle of a dude sandwich.
Oh shit.
The movie we saw this week is Moneyball. And as always, Real Nerds is brought to you by Birdman Barbecue. Pick up your bottle at your local Ace Hardware in the Denver metro area. Anyways, let's get the ball rolling with real news. James, did you want to start real news, or do you want me to give...
No, you start with your little thing. I'm still looking up articles.
So my little thing is... Now, I like the Resident Evil movies. It's hard for me to say that I'm a fan. I do own the trilogy on Blu-ray because it's like one of the first Blu-ray trilogy sets along with Spidey. And my biggest problem with the first one was Michelle Rodriguez. But luckily for us fans, is she turned into a zombie and she was shot in the head. But stop the presses! Guess who's coming back for Resident Evil 5?
No way!
Yeah, that's Shock to the Drop reported that she is going to be in that movie. Now, she might not be. I mean, they said that there's definitely a possibility that she's in the movie because she was mentioned in a casting news, or I even know what the studios pass out to each other, or a call list, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it, but she's on it.
That's what is her deal? Because she's coming back in the Fast and Furious movies too.
Yeah, I guess
they kill her off.
I guess
she's
just
horrible.
like a zombie, if you kill her, she will always come back.
Yeah, I mean she's better off dead. I enjoy movies. I enjoy movie franchises where they've already killed off Michelle Rodriguez because I think at least I'm safe. And then this is just it shakes me to the core.
Yeah, so that was my little bit of funny news. I say, really, how are they going to bring this chick back? She was capped in the head whilst a zombie. Did she mutate just before the bullet hit her and the bullet didn't penetrate her cranium all the way?
Yeah, she'll come back and she'll have a brain that splits open and has toothy tentacle things in it or some shit. I don't understand those movies.
Well, Paul W.S. Anderson, I'm sure, has a clever way of bringing her back into the universe.
I'm sorry, there's another
In three
Resident Evil
dimensions.
movie.
Dude,
of course there is.
Did you know the fourth one's the highest grossing one in the franchise?
No.
Which is insane because it's the worst.
Yeah, it's made something I'm not sure worldwide, but like $170 million worldwide. They cost like $20 million to make.
Yeah.
It's a big profit.
We talked about it last year at the end of the year podcast, because those movies I enjoy going to because I think they're horrible and schlocky, but in a way that is kind of fun. You know, I enjoy watching that movie and laughing at the stupid shit that's going on. But not 4. 4 was just, there was so much slow-mo and not even crazy stuff happening, just like, we thought maybe this would be cool, and then it just wasn't. It was just boring the whole time, and then 3D, it's a muddy mess. Ugh.
Just didn't happen.
So are you saying, Brad, that you didn't see Resident Evil 4?
No, I saw it. I just
okay.
That's how he feels about the whole series.
I was trying to start a discussion. I was just making the joke that like, do we need another one? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know what's a bummer though? I remember when the trailer for the second one came out. The trailer was actually really cool. It was this girl who was using cosmetics by the Umbrella Corporation, and in the end, when she put, I don't know, like face cream or something on, she turned into a zombie. Of course, that had nothing to do with the movie, but yeah. James,
that actually sounds like it would be an interesting movie.
Exactly.
As opposed to all of the things that we have actually seen.
But don't worry, too. I also read that the dude who played Wesker is going to be in the movie, and you know how.
You mean wait, the guy who dies at the end of the fourth one?
Yeah, well, his thing goes away and it blows up. So I mean, he could have jumped out, and he's such a great actor that the series really needs his commanding presence.
Oh, because they can't kill him because he's like got some kind of zombie thing in his head or something.
Yeah, what the problem is I mean, he has that in Resident Evil 5, but they actually have,
game, not...
Yeah, they have the 20 hours of the game explaining how he becomes that way. Actually, he becomes that way in Resident Evil Code Veronica, but that's the 4th game of the series. And then by the time you get to Resident Evil 5, you find out that he's basically injected himself with a bioweapon, and that's why he's able to dodge bullets and stuff. And I mean, the last scene where they're fighting him in Resident Evil 4, the movie, is exactly the last scene in Resident Evil 5, the video game.
Really?
Yeah, where if you try to shoot him, he just dodges it. And then he taunts you and kicks you and beats you up. But for some reason, the cinematography and the acting and the stuff is better in the game than it was in a multi-million-dollar movie.
I can't really want to go see that movie. Anyway.
Anywho.
I figured we'd start with the good news, and then spend the rest of the time talking about all the bad news. They're bringing the Alamo Drafthouse to Denver. And the Alamo Drafthouse is a chain of theaters in Texas, and there's a few of them. There's mostly just... There's one in Austin, I believe, is where it started.
And it's coming to Littleton, though.
Wait, it's coming to...
Aspen Grove.
Lakewood. Aspen Grove. Where is it? Littleton.
Off of Santa Fe.
Right.
Yeah, Santa Fe.
When you say Littleton, I think where I live, which is not actually Littleton. Yeah, it's coming to Aspen Grove. It'll be known as the Aspen Grove Draft House, though I think it will still say Alamo Draft House on the outside. I'm not sure. It's
the Alamo Draft House at Aspen Grove.
Yeah,
like
hopefully something like that. But the point is that they're trying to expand that brand, and we're the first place that they're coming, which is awesome. It's it's kind of like the Greenwood Village landmark where they show big movies, but they also show the little indie movies, and they have a smaller theater that you can rent out, and they do food, and they do alcohol, and they...
Sweet, so I could rent out a theater and just have Amazing Spider-Man with my friends.
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
good.
You can do that with the landmarks here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They offer that, yeah.
Will they have Spider-Man there?
You can request it.
I wonder how much that costs, you know?
It's probably out of our price range.
Yeah, probably.
So I have $100. Will that rent out an entire screening of Spider-Man?
It might rent you 5 minutes.
I swear we'll be clean. And if not, I'll clean up afterwards. Is that knock the price down a little?
No.
I think it's fantastic. I cannot
it's cool.
wait.
So
and I think it's neat that they chose Denver. I mean, Denver is kind of a... I mean, it's not L.A. or New York, but the truth is it's up there as far as towns that have a good indie film environment around them. You know, we've got...
Well, the Telluride Film Festival is pretty well respected.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. We've got Telluride Film Festival, that's at least in Colorado. But I think it's exciting. Can't wait.
Don't they're pretty big on showing old classic movies.
Yeah, they do a lot of movie series kind of things. And
Yeah, not just new releases.
yeah, it's like a... And this is hearsay and everything I've read on blogs for years, and always wishing that I could go to the Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah, it's a more fun kind of, very movie buff sort of theater where they're not just doing it for making money; they're doing it for the film fans, you know.
Right, and often fans create art for.
Oh yeah. They are
releases.
one of the theaters that do a lot of the like
if they're having a retro fest, fans will get together and create posters to
yeah
advertise.
they'll use fan made posters to
which are, from what I've seen, really
they're amazing.
a lot better
Yeah.
than most.
Yeah, a lot of them tend to be
Hollywood-generated
that sort
posters.
of modern graphical
Minimalist
is what minimalist kind of designs, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones where you have to have already seen the movie and you look at it and you go, I see what you did there. That
Ryan
is
can
pretty-
appreciate the latest one that I've seen is for the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah, you told me about that.
It's like a 24-hour Friday the 13th marathon, and the poster is the hockey mask, but the mask is made out of all the different objects that Jason is killed with throughout the series. So it's pretty clever.
That's cool. Very cool. Well, the Emmys were last week.
They were.
What are
And
the
I didn't
Emmys?
watch them. Did anybody watch the Emmys?
I never watched the Emmys.
Nor should you. So Mad Men won for best drama, which I'm.
You know what happens in Mad
agree
Men?
with.
Exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah,
Talking.
but it's way more interesting than what we're talking
False.
about. And I mean, it beat. I'm just glad it beat out Game of Thrones. I would have broken some shit if Game of Thrones had won anything.
Brad is smoking and drinking right now, so it's just like the Mad Men.
Yeah. Well, after this, we just have to.
And all he has to do is be
two of us
sexist
have to have
and-
sex, and then it'll be Mad Men.
Hey, secretary.
And I don't want to
get back in the kitchen.
It is true. I rewatched the first season of Mad Men this week. I won't talk about that later. And I was watching it and I'm going, I'm surprised Ryan doesn't like this just because of how sexist it is.
I am not a sexist person. I might be down with violence and profanity in movies.
Towards
but
women? Oh, okay.
I think he's more misogynist, right?
Yeah, this is, and it's more. Just
Hey!
that it's more just that he watched a lot of Dick Van Dyke.
But you know what? Dick Van Dyke's amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder who got him started on that.
The biggest problem with the Emmys was that it means that Steve Carell never won an Emmy for playing The Office.
Oh, that's a bummer.
He played
Never.
He played Michael Scott. He didn't play The Office.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Steve Carell is The Office on
You know
The
what?
Office.
You know what? He kind of was The Office for me. I love that show, but anyway. So he never won for The Office. That show was huge, and he was amazing on it. And the fact that he lost in his final year to Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory, the most offensive towards geeks show that is on TV, is horrible. That guy also beat Louis C.K. from Louis, obviously, and that show is brilliant. It's infuriating. I can't stand it. And
I've never seen
all
it.
of that is shadowed by the fact that for the second year in a row, Community was completely snubbed. Got nominated for nothing at all. Modern Family won like best comedy.
Do you think Community doesn't get nominated because they basically tell TV that they have stupid conventions and that they just turn it on their side?
I think it doesn't get I don't know if you know this, but the way the Emmys work is shows aren't actually awarded based on the show. The way the Emmys work is you submit an episode of your show to like the Emmys, and then all those episodes are watched by the judging groups, and there's multiple judging groups, but all those episodes are watched and then judged based on the episode itself. So shows don't really win the Emmys, episodes win the Emmys. So that's like why Lost won in its first season, but then never won again, because the first season they submitted the pilot, which is an episode that you don't need to be watching Lost to understand. You can just watch that episode and be like, oh, that was really cool and that really stuck with me, and then move on. Shows that tend to, like Community and Arrested Development was one of them, though that one strangely would win. Shows that have a lot of inside jokes and have a very specific kind of comedy in them, or are serialized, tend to not win simply because you have to already be watching that show.
Yeah.
And if half the people in the judging group aren't watching it, those people aren't going to vote for that show because they'll watch it and go like, well, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't appeal to me, even though it might be the better written, smarter, more progressive show on television.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Oscars are totally political. It's not.
But even like the Oscars, it's voted on. You know, I can appreciate the Oscars more. Like, I hate when it gets political like this, but the Emmys are such a crock at this point that I don't think that any of what they do makes any impact on the industry anymore.
I know maybe if The Walking Dead was nominated and won for Best Dramatic Series,
Was not nominated.
I would have watched it just to see if it'd win for a zombie movie to get critical accolades.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely unbelievable.
It is.
But not as unbelievable as what Netflix did this week, which is
Hold on, let me create a theme song to,
a theme song for this week. Who fucked up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Netflix fucked up.
Okay. Who fucked up this week?
So, yeah, but I enjoy that as a anyway, because we've done a lot of that, a lot of stories about who fucked up. Anyway, this week Netflix decided that in order to make up for the fact that they raised prices, they would make their service harder to use. That's all it boils down to. I mean,
explain.
Okay, so they've decided that they are. Did you read about this?
No.
Oh, really? You don't know about this at all?
No, I don't really follow Netflix, so I get too.
Okay.
His wife does.
Well,
my wife does. Enlighten me.
All right, I'm excited to tell you this then. Netflix is splitting their company in half. Netflix is now going to be the name for just their streaming service, and then they are inventing a company called Quickster, which will be the name of their DVDs in the mail service, which is also going to involve video games in the mail. They will, together, the two prices will add up to the same thing you're paying now, if you're paying for both of them. But they will be on your, you'll be billed for them separately. You will also have 2 different websites and 2 different queues, which means that, let's say, Moneyball is coming out on DVD, and you want to see it, you want to rent it, but you don't know if it's going to be on streaming or not. So you put it on your queue for the DVDs in the mail. It's not automatically going to tell you that it's also on streaming. And if it pops up on streaming while it's in your queue, it's not going to automatically be on your instant queue in the other one. It's just horrible. This is the dumbest decision I've seen a company make in a long time.
Why is it called Quickster?
Because they don't know how to make up good names anymore.
It's based on the fact that they believe that their DVD mailing is very fast, which it kind of is.
Yeah.
I actually get my discs when I had it within like a day or two. So.
But here's the problem.
You didn't unplug the computer.
At this point,
so hopefully it's not too annoying for the first.
Yeah, it'll be
15 minutes.
It'll be all right.
It's all right.
No, it's fine.
Been away for a while.